we go. All right. What's all right? What's going on, brother?
Just a lot, man. It's just I got a lot going on, especially like with my job and the whole situation with I wouldn't say my ex-wife. I mean, it's legally I'm still married. Trying
Okay.
to get the divorce done and stuff. So
Okay. All right.
Well,
Well,
thanks for joining
thanks
us.
for joining us. Where
thank you.
where you tuning in from?
I'm tuning in from Florida.
Okay. I got like a little echo, so I don't know if you can
Uh, I could fix it up. Is that better?
yeah.
Yeah. What about the lighting? Are you able to turn on the light in the
Or
room?
face the light rather.
Uh, yeah, but would that be better?
That's
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah, that's
Much better.
perfect. That's perfect. So what's your name?
First name Xavier, last name displayed. It's Bermudez.
Okay.
Okay.
And how many kids do you have?
I got two beautiful babies.
And they with your same ex-wife or
Yes,
wife?
yes,
Okay. All right. Our next question was it a situationship? But obviously not, because that was your wife. You married her.
yeah,
Okay.
And so you guys aren't legally divorced. You just shared that with us.
yes.
But how did you guys split? Like, who made that decision?
So she said, it's like a he said, she said, but I have receipts. I kept like receipts of everything. Um, and she was the one who asked for divorce, and I said, she kept threatening me with it. So I was like, all right, what, fine, and now you're gonna get the divorce. And like she tried to not go through with it, but I was already tired of it. I'm like, you know what, it's I'm giving you all this and you're not really meeting me at least halfway or something.
How long were you guys? Well, how long have you been married?
We got married in 2020.
Okay, and so is it an issue of just you guys are going you grew apart, or was it infidelity? Like, what's the reason that she wanted to ask you for a divorce?
So it was kind of like so I was paying all the bills, and I turned the I turned the AC off for an hour so I can, because the light bill was like $400 something a month. Like it was going crazy. So I
Okay.
turned off the AC for an hour, and then I turned it back on. I went to work, and she texted me, hey, this and that, blah blah blah, and I just said I just turned it off for an hour. I turned it back on. It's fine. And she was like, I want a divorce, all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, no, you're not gonna use.
Because of that.
Yeah. So I'm
It
like, you're not
must
gonna
get well. I
use.
mean, it must get really, really hot in Florida for her to make the decision to the point
Right.
that just to
Okay.
turn
Yeah.
the AC off for a few minutes. Like, what's that
Do
all
you
about?
do you think she has somebody else or something? It
At
got
the
to be more to
time,
it.
yeah, at the time, no, but like she's very what do you say? She's very unpredictable. So I think she genuinely like. I'm not even gonna downplay her. I'm not gonna say she's this, she's that, or whatever. I'll let the audience judge that. But she does have some sort of bipolar issues. Like even my mother had stated that.
Okay. Well.
I
Uh.
mean, has she ever been diagnosed?
No,
Well,
she
that's just a term because people use the word bipolar real
Yeah.
loosely, so we
yeah,
don't
no,
want to diagnose anyone, right? You're just saying her actions were a little.
Crazy.
yeah, because like
Well, not
she went
crazy, but
from I want a divorce to I want to be with you, and then it'll go back to f you, this, that, and the third. So
yeah.
Okay, so eventually you just said, okay, let's split,
yeah,
right?
I was like, all right, you want that? That's fine. But within
All right.
doing
So.
that, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh no. So I was just gonna say, but right before we jump in, we always got a question that we always ask everybody. You ready?
Who
You ready? Who's
who's
the
the
deadbeat?
deadbeat?
I'm not gonna be biased in my situation. I'll let the audience figure that out.
All right. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. All right. So get us into it. Like, you said you got two kids, and so how she's alienating the kids?
So I could start from like where the situation is at now, but
No,
I'll
you can bag it up. That's fine.
yeah. So when we initially, decided, we're gonna separate, whatever. I slept on the couch. I'm paying all the bills, whatever. I I'd come home, she'd separate my laundry. Even though whenever I did laundry, I'd make sure I clean her clothes and the kids' clothes. I'm not gonna do that. I'd come home late night, no dinner cooked, whatever. I'll cook dinner. There was one time where I came home, my son ran through the freaking house. Like there was pit balls everywhere. It looked like Toys R Us blew up in the house. But I cleaned it all. They didn't say nothing, whatever. And so that's just my nature. I try to. I don't like problems, especially at my job. I work at a prison. Like it's just gonna be problems 24/7. So I don't like problems at all. So um, everything was fine. I told her, I said, hey, I don't want you to leave with the kids. You could stay here, and I'm gonna pay the bills, whatever, and then we'll move back to our home state. And
And what
she,
state is that?
it's in New Jersey.
Okay.
But
So
the
I said,
children were born in Florida, correct?
no, my daughter was born in Florida, but my son was born in Oklahoma.
How old are they?
Okay.
That's what we forgot to ask.
My son is 4, and my daughter's gonna be 2 in July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you wanted to keep your family.
Yeah, I
And
wanted to keep them near. Granted the situation, like I grew up with a single mom. I don't want my kids to go through that without having their father in their life. I went through it. My kids don't deserve that.
okay. So okay, how was she alienating before you guys actually split? Was it a matter of her just defying you and your discipline, or like what was going on in the home that you saw
Um,
signs?
that she like if I wanted to go and cut my son's hair, it's like no, it's what I want. You're never there, blah blah blah. But it wasn't as bad as it is now, and it's not as bad as it has gotten. So I was sleeping on the couch, whatever. I'm paying the bills, I'm buying food, I'm buying the kids whatever they need, and I was paying her phone bill, paying everything. And so she started talking to a different a person from another state, whatever. Her parents kind of got involved. Her father hooked her up with this person or whatever.
Knowing that
And
she was still legally married to you.
yeah,
Wow.
but I don't want to refrain from off track. So like how like you and your significant other, you guys play fight, you guys wrestle. It's just I'm with a different person right now. We play fight all the time, and so I had like grabbed her wrist, and she's anemic, so she marks pretty easily, and she told me to stop, and then I held on for probably like 15 seconds more, and I said okay, I'll let her go. She recorded her arms, and she sent it to her parents saying I was abusing her, all this stuff. I've seen my mom get punched in the face. I've seen it all, and I've never put my hands on a woman.
Wow.
Yeah,
So when she did that, that didn't give you like a scare that it
I
probably
I
could
didn't
go
I didn't
further?
know I didn't know she did that until like recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So is this why you think they were trying to hook her up with someone else because she had
yeah,
told them that you were being abusive to her?
yes,
But even then, like, why would parents get involved in
Right.
something
I
like
mean,
that?
the first step for any marriage is a divorce. I mean, you don't just
Exactly.
encourage anybody to, step out on their partner, even if they're still not working out, because you don't want the conflict from that. And that's just not good
yeah.
advice, in my opinion. But okay, so she's telling people that you're being abusive. And so, what was like the last straw where you actually left and moved out, and you guys are in two separate
Um.
spaces?
So I couldn't move out because I was on the lease, and she doesn't have a license. She doesn't have nothing. So even if I did move out, she would have no way to take my kids to point A to point B. Let's say they need to go to a doctor, she can't take them. So I So I found like I took screenshots of like I'm not, I wasn't a perfect husband, and I'll admit that. Like I did step out of the marriage, but then we also like I agreed to go to marriage counseling. It was working, and then I don't know what happened. But aside from that, I found out she was talking to another person, and I said, all right, that's fine, but like as long as you don't throw it in my face. So I'd come home, she'd throw the kids at me, go lock herself in the room, and go talk. And I hear her talking to this person all night, talking to this person. It built up, and I before I acted upon anything, I called her father and I said, hey, is it okay if because I can't have this person living here with me no more. Is it okay if she goes and moves in with you guys? And he was like, yeah, of course, always welcome, blah blah. Acting two faced to me. I thought like I didn't know, but it is what it is. And so I came home one day and I told her, I said, you need to pack your stuff and you need to leave. So we started yelling at each other. She got up, got in my face, and I turned around, I threw my keys on the floor. I was upset, but I didn't throw it in her direction. And then I went, picked up my keys, walked out, went for a drive, and she called the cops on me.
And said what?
She said that I was being aggressive and she was in fear of her life and stuff.
And so what?
So, I'm sorry. I was
No.
just trying to gather everything
Yeah.
because you kind of
Slid
slid
in like
you
you
cheated.
cheated.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of the story because it kind of validates her actions a little bit, not the alienation part, but just how the marriage got rocky, right?
Yeah.
So both of you guys were not faithful and that caused problems. So it makes more sense now where we are today why you had to go your separate ways. So
Yeah.
now get us to you coming back from the drive.
So I came back from the drive. She didn't want to let me in the place, and I said, I'll sleep on the couch. I'll leave you alone. Just I want to be, near my kids. And she was like, oh no, I already called the cops, blah blah this and that. And she she like she called her parents, and I even have a video recording. So like one night I was, like nothing really crazy happened after I came back from the drive, but so I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? She wants to play games, whatever. I'm paying for her phone. I'm paying for the internet, but I'm not going to be paying for no internet for you to go and call some other dude while I'm still providing for you. I'm not doing that. So I took her off the internet, and I have her on voice recording saying that she was going to call the police on me, saying that I was keeping her from communicating with her family, which is a felony. You can't do that. And like keeping someone from calling the authorities is also a felony. So I told her like while
By
she's
turning
telling.
off Wi-Fi or like actually
Oh no,
restraining
I
them and
just
making
I
a
went through
way
the
where
app.
they
Like,
can't
Yeah,
physically
that's
call. Because I
crazy.
don't think it's if you decide to cut off Wi-Fi or something like that.
yeah,
That's
no. All I did was just kick her off the internet. But while she's telling me this, she's on the phone with her father, and
okay.
I just ignore it. I go and I'm playing my video game, to like get because my kids are already asleep. So I'm playing my video game. She's like, oh, since you don't want to give me the internet, she goes in, turns off the game. I'm like, all right, whatever. Turn it back on. Goes in, turns it off, and then like I hear her father laughing about it.
What?
And
What type of situation they got going on with a father getting that involved in his daughter relationship? So what happened with the situation with the police? Like, did you go to jail or
no, no,
so what happened with that?
because I wasn't there, and there's no like I didn't put my hands on her. There's no proof of it. They just took down that my demographics. She told them I have a firearm. Like I'm a law enforcement officer. I have firearms. So like
Okay, because yeah, you'd be surprised just off of a phone call. We've had men that were arrested and fighting whole protective order cases and domestic violence cases because it's just because you weren't there doesn't mean that she couldn't have followed through with everything. So we're just trying to figure
yeah,
out was that like the last incident between you guys before she went somewhere else and you can't see your kids or whatever is going on.
So that was the split.
yeah. That definitely wasn't the last interaction.
Okay.
So so she had moved. back to our home state, and this was a month before my son turned 3. So um, I was talking to my friend. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna be there for my son's birthday. Have you whatever. So that like I think like a week before I bought the flight, bought a rental. I had everything good to go. I stayed at my mom's house,
So
and
how long has it been at this point
since I
since
seen
you
my
seen
kids,
your kids? Yeah.
since I want to say since February because like it, where like
No, no,
where
no.
that
How
situation
long
is.
had it been once she left and you
Yeah.
went to the party? Had
Oh,
you not seen the kids?
probably like a couple weeks at that point.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
So then I went and I took her and the kids and I said, hey, whatever the kids need, point at, I got it. I think I ended up spending like $2,000 in one day just on my kids. And
Why did you do that?
what was that?
Why did you do that?
Spend so much money on my kids, or
Yeah, at that particular time.
because I
Was
think
it
that,
guilt?
oh no, it wasn't guilt. It was because like it's winter and they just came from Florida, so they didn't have winter clothes. So I
Okay.
said whatever they need food, whatever. It wasn't guilt. It was like I'm their
And who
father.
was she living with? Did she get like set up on her
And
own?
she was living with her parents.
Oh, okay, okay. So
I mean,
that
there ain't
that
too many places she can go. I
yeah,
mean, an adult with no license, like,
yeah.
come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
She's older
So
than I am.
so it was okay for you to come up there and spend the money, and I'm assuming that that went well, right? It wasn't any
Yeah, it
conflict.
went well. I mean, granted, her parents are like, oh, finally he's being a father. No, I've always been providing. What are you talking about? And it
They
comes.
said that to you?
No, they said it to her because they don't excuse my language. They
Your
don't have the
sound
balls.
is muffled.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um, they said it to her, but excuse my language. They don't have the balls to tell me anything to my face.
Hmm.
So
I bet it
You can
be.
believe it.
yeah,
Okay, so
so
you go up there, you spend 2,000, and then you say everything went well, and then what happened?
so it's my son's birthday. It's on the day. I paid for a lot of stuff for to so he could have fun on his birthday, and I'm there at the door so I can go in because they have the cake because I brought the cake to them, and I got the little power they have over me is that I can't go inside. So they said they waited till like about to sing happy birthday to my son to tell me. Oh, they didn't even tell me. They told her to tell me. They were like, oh, tell him he can't come in. And while she has the door open, her father's sitting in the kitchen. So the kitchen's right next to the door, and I'm just going off. I'm like, yo, you excuse my language. Is it okay if I curse?
Yeah, you just can't. Don't try to overdo it, but it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, oh, your dad's a B. He's a P word. He won't say anything. Like he won't say it to my face. He's trying to keep me from my son. I bugged out. I was upset. I came
Did you
thousands like
record? Did you record that?
no. I was just upset. Like I didn't nothing popped in my mind. I wanted to I saw red.
I bet.
So of course they use that incident against you some type of way, right?
Yeah, they try saying that I'm violent, but like when it comes to my kids, I will I'll do anything like in my power to
But
make
you
sure
know
that they're
that
happy.
violence is not the way. If you trying to,
Yeah,
Especially
no,
not if
no,
you
no. Uh,
having to fight legally, then
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't.
no, I don't put my hands on no one unless you come and put your hands on me. I will not reciprocate. I only give what I get. So
That's not always good either.
yeah, not when you fighting a cussing
You
battle.
can't match energy. You got to put the kids first. And so
yeah, yeah,
we
of course.
we definitely get it, but that's
Yeah,
just
because
food for thought.
stuff will
Because
take you
for
there.
viewers, like we always want to encourage people to know when you fight in court, composure and your
That's key.
behavior, all of that is very
Key.
very important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I moved back to and I go back to Florida, because I had to come back because of work, and then I was thinking, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna probably go back to New Jersey. I want to be next to my kids. So, and then I applied for the job I have now as a correctional officer. And I'm like, if I don't get it, I'm gonna move back, and then I'm gonna cut my losses with that stuff down in Florida. And so I ended up getting the job, and I told her, hey, I'm gonna stay down here. So she got upset about it, whatever, and then she said she needed to get away from New Jersey for a little bit. I'm like, fine. I paid for a resort, paid for her plane ticket, her food, and everything down here, just so she could bring my kids, so I could be able to see them. And I got to spend time with my daughter and my son. It was, everything was good. She went back, and then I think her parents kicked her out, or her dad threatened to put hands on her because of a situation that she got into over there, which was she ended up having like a sexual relation or whatever with one of his friends.
With one of her
And
father's friends.
yeah, and I think she got caught doing stuff in their house. And granted, she has no one to watch the kids, so she probably had my kids watching TV while she's turning up.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's not the
I
first
mean, but
situation.
this, you said that wasn't the first time.
No, she would frequent hotel rooms with this guy, and she had no one to watch my kids and bring my kids to hotel rooms to interact with this, have conjugal visits with this dude.
So how is that possible in one hotel room? Would they get a separate room? I hope.
Nope, this right there with my
And you know
kids.
this for a fact that she would be intimate with this guy while your kids were in the same room.
Yes, she told me, oh yeah, we would get hotel rooms, and I know like getting hotel rooms in New Jersey, especially two rooms or a separate room or whatever the case may be, it ain't
But
cheap.
that's just as bad because their ages, they
Yeah,
cannot be left
just
alone in a
alone at
room by
all.
themselves. So the
Yeah,
whole everything is just terrible. The whole it's not good either way. It's just
yeah,
bad. But
So basically, the only reason she brung the kids is because it was issues in the house with her father, which he kind of brung on himself because you always in her relationship, always in her business. What you think? It's like
yeah,
it's almost like he pushing his daughter out on different men at this
mhm.
point.
yeah,
Okay, so catch all right.
I mean,
So
isn't she an adult? Like, I mean, let's just pause for a second.
yeah,
Why would that even bother him? I mean, I know it's probably something he wouldn't like, but it's not something that you would think would cause him to put her out with the grandkids. That's just something that's not.
he just want control. He's
yeah.
acting
And
like a
He
bitter
wants
baby
control.
mama. Yeah, like to me, it don't seem like she got her stuff together. I'm not. I know that's
No.
your ex-wife or your wife. I don't know what the situation is right now, but it don't seem like she got her stuff together, and her parents seem like
it
they
just seems
they
like
baby her a
it's a
lot.
toxic situation, dysfunctional going on, even with them being involved in you guys' marriage and just all of her adulting. Like it's
Yeah, it's
they're too involved, but that's neither here nor there. So
yeah.
okay, after you find out this with her and the dude, what do you do next? Like what's the
I
next step?
There's nothing like I could go off on her. I could try talking to her, but her thing was, oh, you're trying to get you're jealous that I'm with another man, like all that stuff. I'm not. I don't care. I just care about who you bring around my kids. Cause my girlfriend right now, she met the kids. The kids love her. They love her. They're like sometimes I think they love her more than me. But
Now is that the woman you cheated with? Oh,
no,
I had
no,
to
no,
ask.
no, no. I met her. She didn't even know that I was married at the time because we were just seeing each other, we were talking, and I explained to her my situation, and she said, I really like you, and I want to see where this goes, and I'll support you 100%. And that's what she's been my rock.
So how does she feel about you still having got a divorce?
And she's on my A double snakes about it. Like
Yeah, I bet.
I went through. I called a lawyer. I tried the online divorce, and they told me, yo, at this point, because she keeps denying the documents, so they were like, at this point, I think you need to go ahead and try getting a lawyer. So today, actually, I called the county clerks, and they told me to come in, and then they could start the paperwork, and then she was going to be served her court documents, and she needs to come to Florida.
So you guys got married in Florida.
No, we had a proxy marriage since I was in the military, and we were geographically located in different, areas. So a proxy marriage allows you to get married without having being physically present. You just need a notarized document stating, you agree to this.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank
Yes,
you. I
we
appreciate
Um,
it.
appreciate
as far as because that complicates things as far as custody because first of all she's residing in wherever she is now, and if you guys get divorced, you probably would have to fight for custody where she's living.
you. Yeah, he
Yeah.
lived there now, though,
No,
Oh,
right?
she lived in. Oh
she
yeah,
hasn't been
right,
there.
Jersey, right.
No, she didn't go back to New Jersey.
So
So
where did
where
she
she at
go?
now?
That's what, at the end where I was trying to.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, all
it
right.
gets
We're gonna
worse.
let you
Yeah.
continue. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, um, like, she went back to New Jersey, and then I think this was around June, and it was about to be my daughter's birthday.
Hmm.
My daughter's birthday is in July, so I came out of pocket to rent this venue, this little place. I paid for the food, paid for everything, for her family and friends to be there. Didn't even get a thank you, like whatever. Okay, all I asked, I said, please, when you sing happy birthday, can you please call me? I want to sing happy birthday to my daughter. It's her first birthday. Didn't call me. They sang happy birthday for a second time. Didn't call me. That same night on my daughter's birthday, she took my kids to a hotel room with her friends, and she said that she woke up and didn't remember anything that happened, whatever. So she said that she had gotten drugged or whatever. She was taking, edibles and stuff. I don't do drugs because of my job, and I don't really care for them. So she said that she was taking edibles, doing that stuff. So you're doing drugs in front of my kids. Like that's a no go. I don't care how severe the drugs are or not. Like that this should not be
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Right, because if
That's
she,
wow.
was incapacitated, who was taking care of the children during that time?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I don't
We,
know.
That's scary.
It
That's
is.
scary that she making poor judgments like that, especially with
Mhm.
little kids
small
like
kids,
that.
they're small
It
children.
it fires me up when I think about it. But so you know, fast forward a little bit more. She she at one point in time, I was in the corrections academy at this time, and she told me that, oh, I think you should just send money and not call. So she just wanted money for me and just didn't want me to talk to my kids.
What?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Man, yeah, we not doing that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
What? What type of request is that?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
uh,
think you should just give me my kids and go get you a job. Like,
yeah, like so like the job situation. I'll get into that a little. I'm almost to that point where like all that situation, but so um after that, I told her, I'm like, I don't care, like, I'm gonna be there for my kids. I'm still sending money, whatever. Even though I'm not court mandated to, I'm gonna still send you money. At that point, I think I was sending probably like 1,000 a month
Why?
because I like it's like her guilt tripping me. Oh yeah, you're a deadbeat, and I'm like, yo, like I want to support my kids. I want to like I send money, and if she like aside from the money I send her, she said, hey, the kids need diapers. You know, out of the money I send her, I'm like,
So,
all right, I'm gonna buy it.
so I need you to clear some up for me. So at this point, you still in Florida, or did you move back to New Jersey at this point?
No, I still live in Florida. I never left Florida.
Okay, so because you said you had got a job
Yeah, so
back.
no, I got a job here in Florida. I said if I didn't get the job, I would move back. But I ended up
Oh,
getting the
okay.
job. It's a career. Um, hell, I got pepper sprayed. I got tased for it. I'm not gonna,
Yeah,
try to.
you can't mess that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have three retirements. I have a retirement that I'm getting from the military. I'm pretty like I'm set, and so she ended up getting into it with her parents, and her parents, they threatened to put hands on her. And she's like, I'm not dealing with this. She moves back to Florida with her friend. Her friend lives probably like 40 minutes from me. So I said, it's great. I get to see the kids. I was seeing them every week, and uh, I would go. So I was working like midnight shifts at this point. So I'm working midnight to 8 a.m. And I would have to flip flop my schedule so I could be on timing for my kids, and then I could be on timing for my job, which sucked. But the goal, the good part was I got to spend time with my kids.
Okay.
And she goes and calls me one day, and she's like, "Oh, her friend's mother." She said, "Oh yeah, she's pulling a knife on me, this and that." From my end, I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" And then go down there. The lady, she says she needs to leave. They kick her out. So I had moved into the place I'm living at now, but I was still paying rent on my old place. And my girlfriend, she's like, "Hey, we should let her live there for now, and the kids get to be closer, and like it'll help her get on her feet." And we offered, hey, if you can, like, I even had the thought. I even told her, I said, like, hell, I'll get you a house, just so that you don't have to leave the state, or you don't leave anywhere. Like, I just want my
Man,
kids.
you a good guy, man. All the stuff
I
she done
mean, the
put you
whole
through.
time I'm listening, I'm trying to think that you're doing all of these things because you're preparing yourself for what it's going to be like once you get divorced anyway. Because will you have to pay alimony? Will you have to pay child support? You know what I'm saying? So I don't
Yeah.
know if that's why you were in the habit of already trying to appease her in that way.
Um, the
On
reason,
top of your benefit of seeing the kids,
yeah.
I'm trying to be nice because it is way too much compromise. It's way too much compromise with the
Yeah.
reckless behavior, the back and forth. So obviously you had to do this because you wanted to see the kids, but when did you wake up to say enough is enough? It's time to go to
Um,
court.
so she, I, I'll tell you that part in a little bit, but like, so the reason why I was doing that, like, I'm doing all this stuff, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me why you kept asking, oh, why did you send her the money? Why did you do this? Why did you?
Right.
She would use my kids as pawns against me. Like, I don't know why it slipped my mind. So she had a conversation with my girlfriend, and she told her, I know how to get to Xavier. And my girlfriend's like, oh, like how? What do you mean? And she was like, oh, I just keep him from seeing the kids. She said that,
What?
like words
So
coming
this
from
is
her
this
mouth.
is a thing. Like this is a
Yeah,
formula.
like it's a plan. It's a little plot in her head. And she said her main goal was to see me lonely and miserable for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Talk it as she talked to your girlfriend.
Yeah, she told my girlfriend this. My girlfriend's
What?
like, I don't think you should do that. The kids don't deserve that. Xavier's a good father. He tries his best for them. And I'm not gonna toot my own horn. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. It's
So
fine.
did she
That's
ever
what a man
turn on
does.
her? Did she turn on your girlfriend? Because typically it only
Yeah,
works well while she's getting what she wants, and then when things change, that
yeah.
change
Like
shifts.
Exactly.
what when I said that the kids loved her, I noticed my son, he would do this thing, like he'd say my girlfriend's name, and he would say no, 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 and I picked up off that, and I'm like, why is he doing that? And then like whenever I would go see my kids, because she wouldn't let me take my kids, like I would beg her. I was begging her to take my kids so I can take them to this amusement park. It's called Dinosaur World, and my kids love dinosaurs. So I was begging her to take the kids, and she's like, "Oh no, you had to stay here. I have to monitor you. You can't be trusted. You don't know how to take care of them. You don't feed them. This and
Why you
that."
just didn't take them? Because you're not like a baby daddy. You are actually like a husband, right? And equally, they're your kids.
Yeah,
Legally,
I
they're your
called the
kids
sheriff's
because you guys
department.
are married.
I called the sheriff's department before I acted upon that. Like I called out of work, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to go to war today. So I called the sheriff's department, and they said, I said, oh yeah, like how would things go if she were to take my kids and just flee? They said, oh well, she can do that because you guys are legally married. There's no divorce. There's
Yes,
no
and you could
parenting.
do the same. That's the point that I'm making. It goes both ways. So yeah, you don't have a court order in place, so a sheriff can't help you because they can't enforce that. But I get that you were trying to figure out, what rights you had or what capacity, but this is for the viewers. It's not really so much for you because
Yeah,
you've already been through it.
Mm-hmm.
But just like she could take the kids and run, and you not take her to court. If you took them, she not take you to court because you're married. So
Yeah,
they're legally both of you guys children. She doesn't have more rights than you in a marriage. That's
yeah,
that's that's the thing. This is why it's point, to get married means something, but just to have a kid with somebody in this no marriage, then yes, of course, the mom is automatically the custodial parent, but not in your situation.
yeah.
yeah. So I had asked the sheriff's department. I said, what if it was vice versa? They told me we advise you to not do that. So I got
Of course,
advised.
of
Yeah, I got
course.
advised to not do that, and
It's-
I'm like, okay, that's fine. So she had asked me, hey, can you bring the car seats? I'm like, why does she need the car seats? If I was like, she came up with this plan to, hey, if I don't get like if the month elapsed and the lease is done, is it okay if you take the kids and I'll find a place to stay at and then I'll get a job and then I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine as long as I'll even help you. I'll help you look for a place. I'll give you money to find that place. Whatever. I was hunting for her for an apartment or something. And so I'm like, why does she need the car seats? I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, I need to get my pots and pans anyway. So I go to the place, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm here. Can you open up?" And she said, "Oh, just leave them at the door." I'm like, "Well, since I'm here, I want to see the kids." And she's like, "We're not doing this." I'm like, "What the?" And then she opens the door, she grabs the stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, like,
So
we're
this is hold on, time out. So this is your apartment that you on the lease on,
And he's paying the rent.
and you paying the rent, and she's trying to lock you out your own apartment.
yeah."
But what went left?
I don't know. She just randomly one day just I wish my girlfriend wasn't camera
What
shy.
went left is him and she seen him and his girlfriend out smelling good, looking good, and she had a change of heart.
That's nothing
I think
new.
I think
That's
that's what
nothing
it
new.
was.
Like
Yeah,
she's been talking to her, communicate. I
it,
know
it
because
don't be
we've been through
it
it. But
don't
I'm
be
just
nothing
saying.
new, but when they see it, sometimes they just one day they like try to play it cool, then the next day it's you can't see the kids. You know how it go.
I do know how it goes, but I'm
Yeah.
just
So
still.
what had so that bringing up that she like we had I had just moved her into this place. I'll take it back a little bit. I had just moved her into my old place, and she's she wanted to make plans, or I made plans. I wanted to take my kids to the zoo, and her thing is, oh, I need to go, and I'm like, all right. Her, mind you, when I went and I paid for the U-Haul to go pick up her stuff, to pick up all her stuff, her mom is like, oh, he's not your man. He shouldn't be paying to pick up your stuff. He shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. So she told me how much the tickets were, and I'm like, okay, um, how much are the tickets? So she tried to she did the math, and she said, oh, the price I think was like $75, and I'm like, okay, so how much per ticket? And she's like 25. I'm like, so that's 50. I'll be paying $50. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I'm not paying for your ticket. Your mom had a point. I don't think I should be paying for your stuff. I'm not your man. And her mom went back and was like, oh, he's your husband. He should be paying for this and that, blah blah. Like,
What?
This giving me Adam's family vibes. I don't know what's going on. I'm
What?
trying.
Why? My question to you is, why do you constantly? Why was you constantly having conversation with these people after you know what
No,
type of
I
people they
I
are?
didn't. I that like I just hear it on the phone or she'll tell me. I do not associate myself with those people. They're nutcases.
Okay, I got you.
So her mom ended up paying for her ticket, and I'm like, okay. And we're at the zoo. I go and I buy my girlfriend a gift, and like she sees that, and I see the look on her face, and then I take my kids on to the gift shop, and I'm like, go pick out whatever you want. I'm gonna buy it, pick out. And the kids are running around like crazy, just picking up anything. I swipe my card, swipe, swipe, swipe. It don't matter. But that same day, she told me, "Oh, why are you acting like?" She's texting me. She's like, "Oh, why are you acting different? This and that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh, you don't want to. Normally, when you buy breakfast, so that day I bought breakfast for myself, my girlfriend, and my babies. That's it." She's like, "Oh, normally you." So she knows that I provide. She's like, "Oh, normally you buy everyone breakfast, and you'll pay for me. You'll get me something too." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not your man. I'm not doing that." And I guess for her to try winning me back over, she offered herself to me. She sent me provocative pictures, all this stuff, and I'm showing my girlfriend everything. I'm showing her everything. I said, "Babe, look."
So, and she still wanted to go around because I was just going to cut you off and say your girlfriend must really, really, really love you and really want to be with you because
Yeah, she does.
let's
I
listen,
met her.
listen. I'm a wife, and I was his wife, and his kid's mother tried the same thing and said we got to go to the zoo. We're not doing family time with you, just to be with no kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sometimes
we didn't go. I was not about to be looking at giraffes and hippopotamuses with this bitch. I was not. No, it's not that. And I'm a wife, so your girlfriend, kudos to her. It is no shade, cause I get it. I know she want to be
she
supportive.
was probably doing what she thought
I
was
was
best,
best.
but
Yeah.
you can't. One thing we tell everybody, you can't reason with crazy. So when y'all doing these things, this is what you get every single time when you try to be nice and try to be involved and think this is a normal co-parenting situation. You're gonna get
No.
naked pictures. Now you in the house arguing with your girlfriend, and
Right, because it's like, what did you do? Did you wink at her at the zoo? Did you
No,
blow a kiss when I turned my back? Like, why now all of a sudden she want to be back with you at?
no.
And then,
Yeah, the whole time my focus was on the kids. Like I had pictures, I had my kid holding my kids, and we were feeding giraffes, and then they were just dying laughing. So
see the whole thing with that is what you doing when you're doing this is you painting a false narrative
and definitely for the children.
because they not involved. Like y'all not together anymore. You
yeah,
got your girlfriend, and this is what they need to see. They need to see the different dynamics. So when y'all together, and especially it's not a healthy co-parenting situation. Now it just look like we this big happy family that could come off as being confused.
And
yeah.
don't and
My
Confusing the
girlfriend said the same
kids.
thing.
right. And don't get me wrong, like this can be possible for some families. And I know people gonna try to come for us, but come on, because I'll be ready, locked and loaded. In this space, in parental alienation and in domestic violence and in chaos and in playing games and mental issues and all. You can't do that. And that's what we're trying to communicate. It's not that we don't believe that some people can co-parent this way and be families for the kids, because they can, but not in a space where it's parental alienation, not in a space where this person is using and abusing
Yes.
and using the kids as pawns, and you're right there at her every beck and call and trying to be the fixer and the mediator. And no,
Yeah.
it's
One.
never
One.
gonna go away.
Once.
You're creating a monster. That's
Yes.
what you're doing.
Once them boundaries is crossed, you can't go back to a healthy co-parenting situation.
And
Yeah,
so people think we push negativity, but I mean, you're gonna get us there. I know you're gonna land the plane and we're gonna get to where you are today. But was it even worth it? Look at everything you've talked about, and for these small moments with your kids, yes, it gave you some relief. It's just temporary. It's a temporary fix. But then what's to come? What's the aftermath? What's the storm that comes after?
Yeah. So
So get it to the part with your girlfriend blacked your eye. No, I'm just
no,
playing. I-
she did it. You know, I showed her. I said, you know, because she's initiating it. She's texting me. She's doing this. She's sending me provocative photos, and I'm showing my girlfriend this, and I'm like, hey, you know, that this. And she's telling me to come. Like, she wants me to come over. She's like, oh, just lie to her, blah blah blah. And I said, you know what? And I told my girlfriend, I'm like, let's set her up. Let's see if she actually is trying to do this. So
y'all crazy. I
she, my
wasn't
girlfriend,
expecting that.
yeah,
Neither.
like
Do your
I'm on
girlfriend have
FaceTime.
kids?
Huh?
Do your girlfriend have kids?
No.
Okay, so now it's making sense why she would be with this. But okay,
Yeah.
go
So
ahead.
she so I FaceTime her, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're gonna hear everything, you know. Right before I go in, I'm like, I love you, babe. Don't kill me afterwards. All right, let's see.
Oh my
Go
god.
in, see. You know, I'm just stalling because I really don't wanna, you know, is whatever. I'm kind of stalling. She's putting the kids to bed, and she takes off her pants and she has lingerie on, and I'm like, okay. And I'm in the room and I'm talking to her. I'm like, yeah, you know. She's like, oh, let me see your phone. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then like I'm like, oh shit, the jig is up. Excuse my language. I'm like, oh crap. All right, you know. And then I'm like, why? I'm like, and then my mom calls me, and you know how like when you're on a phone call already, it does that boop 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 boop, and she's like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's my new ringtone. You know, I played it off, and she you know, I sit at the edge of the bed. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can go with this, Brianna. You know, I wanted to see the kids. You know, you put them to bed, but I don't think I can go with this. And she pushes me on the bed, and then she sits on my lap, and then she goes and kisses me, and I push her off, and I'm like, nah. And I ended up leaving, and I explained to my girl everything that happened. My girl, she heard everything, and my girlfriend confronted her that night. She's like, oh, like, how would you do something like that? You know, considering that I'm doing my best to help you. I'm trying to help your situation. I'm trying to do this for the kids. And then my ex-wife is like, well, you didn't trust me anyway, so I just thought I might as well just do it. That's exact her exact words. Her exact words of what she said verbatim.
I'm just trying to channel everything because it's no way I would have sent my husband over there back into the lion's den. It's just not. No.
Honestly, I'm surprised that she was like, you know what, let's see. I mean, because
She
my
probably
ex-wife.
was at disbelief because at this time it's like she's doing crazy stuff, but not really. But
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I guess it was a
yeah.
wake up call for your girlfriend to really understand what you guys were up against.
Okay.
Cause she wouldn't know, right? She's just trying to do whatever to get you your kids. Like, let's do it, please. Let's just work this out. Let's compromise. And I know this because I've been there. Like, I've been that woman just wanting peace and wanting these kids to be with their father and vice versa. And what is all this chaos? Let's just try to work it out. What do you want? Let's try to do it. But once you understand that none of that works, because the reality is she wants exactly what she told her, for you to be lonely and miserable, and until she gets that, nothing is going to be
And that
satisfactory.
don't and that don't it don't care if it's with her or without her. She still wants you lonely and miserable. You could be with her for 50 years, lonely and miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
I mean, okay, so fast forward.
Yeah. So my girlfriend confronts her, this, that, you know. I thought it was fine, kind of just tried squashing it, then put it in the past. And you know, it's about to be my son's birthday. I'm begging her to actually no, I'll bring up the car seat situation. I bring the car seats, and she opens the door, and I'm like, what? I'm like, can I see the kids? And she's like, oh, I'll send you pictures of them. Tries to slam the door in my face. I put my foot there. I'm like, we're not doing this. Let me see my kids. And she's on the phone with her mom. Her mom's running her mouth. She's like, "Oh, he's a deadbeat. He never was there for the kids. Blah blah blah." And I kind of I go off on her mom. I you know I'm like, shut the f up. You know, you should be worried about your freaking relationship with, you know, her father. You're putting your nose where it don't belong. You don't even know the freaking full story. You know, I could have been like, hey, yeah, your daughter offered herself offered herself to me, and you know, whatever.
Hmm.
She probably told her to do it. She probably told
Yeah,
her to
they too involved. They
No, I mean
too involved.
she had told me, she's like, oh, just don't bring it up to my parents, you know. And I don't like problems, so I said, you know, that's fine. I won't bring it up to your parents. But it got to the point where I almost did, and I almost slipped up and said something. I'm like, you know what, nah. And I'm going off of her mom, and her mom's like, oh, I'd be careful. I have my brother lives in Florida, and I'll send my son. And I'm like, you can go send your fucking son and your brother and whoever the hell you want. You know where the hell I live, so come bring
So,
that smoke.
so let me
so
ask you this.
because okay.
Let me
I'm
ask.
sorry. I'm right behind you. Go ahead.
Let me ask
I
you
got
this.
another
So
question.
what? Like, so you never knew what these people was like before you marry her.
I kind of did, but I didn't think it was to that extent. I
So
really
how
did.
long? How long? Like, how did like we gonna bag it up a little bit? So how long did you know her before y'all actually got married?
I knew her for like almost 10 years,
And you
but
never.
I didn't interact with her parents as much.
Ah,
Yeah, because
okay.
like I remember her brother. Like I met her through her brother. We played football together. Met her through him. And her brother would go around saying, "Yo, I don't have a father. I never had a father." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yo, we could relate." You know, like I probably have like 2, 3 memories of my dad. I'm like, whatever. You know, we could relate. I went over to the house. Dude sitting on laying down on the couch. I'm like, who's that? They're like, oh, that's our dad. I'm like, what? I
Damn.
thought you didn't have a father. What's going on? And then they explained to me, oh yeah, he never claimed them. I'm like, he don't have to do like really anything. Like at that point in time, in my mind, I had to grow up at a young age. So in my mind, I'm like, this man provides. Like I'm like probably 15, 16 at the time. I'm like, he provides. He like whether he talks to you or not, he like he's showing his love for you through putting food on the table, keeping a roof over your head, putting clothes on your back, and you had the nerve
Yeah.
to run around and say all this stuff. And
Yeah.
him and I
And you
just
see, it take more than that. It take more than that to be a father
yeah,
now.
it
Now
does.
my
But
question, my question is, you had her basically in the palm of your hand. So during this time, why didn't you get her served with those divorce papers?
I was trying to be cordial about it and do it non-contested, and she was going for it. You know, giving me the full Monty, whatever. And she was like, agreeing to this, that, and the third, whatever. And so she ended up like when I'm begging for her to see the kids and stuff like that, and then I tried FaceTiming her, and I noticed that the kids have like coats on them. I'm like, we're in freaking Florida. Why do the kids have winter coats? I'm like, because I thought she had moved to some place in Florida. I'm like, okay, she probably moved in with her uncle, whatever. But it comes to find out, she took my kids, didn't tell me. And it was about to be my son's birthday. Didn't tell me. She upped and left and moved to Colorado.
Wow.
So how long has she been there?
She's been there since February.
You need to act fast because if she gets residency in Colorado,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a
Yep.
big problem for you.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to the court so I can start the paperwork, and then I'm gonna get in contact with the county clerks over there so they can serve her the court
Because
documents.
the thing about it is, you only got 6 months once you leave.
I
So
know.
and that's from the time she leave to your first court date. So
So after you didn't give in and give it to her, she fled and took the
Yeah,
kids.
so because she had no place to go because my lease was the lease in the other place was ending, and she was texting my girlfriend saying that, oh, you're a POS because you don't want to let me sleep on your couch, blah blah blah. But you're not our responsibility. My responsibility are the kids.
She
I'm
thinks she
just
wanted the kids. She thinks she your kid too.
yeah,
so
Cause
because
y'all
I
keep
had
taking care of.
yeah I spoiled her the whole relationship. She never had a
why
word.
why did you get married to her?
At the time, I loved her. I was my high school sweetheart. I wanted to be with her. Uh, you know, like everything. I was like, yo, I never. Um,
And you
I
sure it wasn't? I mean, being as that was your high school sweetheart, okay, I get that. But because men in the military, they tend to,
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
some hasty
yeah,
I've seen some dude knew a girl for a week off of Plenty of Fish and married her. I've seen it all.
yeah, man. So who do she know in Colorado?
She has her best friend, which I kind of like her, kind of don't, but I like her because she cares about my kids. So I know that if she goes off and does something stupid, I know that she would be there to take care of my kids. Like she'll be like, oh, can you babysit while I go do this? And I know
So
that my
that's
kids
good
aren't
to
getting.
know. Because this is the time for you to act fast, knowing
Yeah.
that your kids may be with somebody who would at least care enough to make sure that they're good until you can get the divorce, get a custody agreement, and get some type of resolution because it hasn't been working in your favor. I mean, it may seem like it, but you shouldn't have to go through all this just to be a part of your kids' lives. Like,
Exactly.
it's just too much.
So how did that make you feel when you realized she left?
Um, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew she was a flight risk. I told my girlfriend before she did it, I'm like, she's a flight risk. I have a feeling she's either gonna go back to New Jersey or she's gonna go to Colorado. Ended up in Colorado. So I was sending I'm sending her 1,000 a month or whatever.
Still?
At this point, yeah. And then she texted me. She's like, "Hey, the kids need could you get this for the kids?" It was like a bunk bed, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, give me the address, and then I'll have it sent to you." And she said, "I'm not sending you my address. The kids and I are safe from you, and uh, she's entitled to half of my tax return." I'm like, you didn't work all of 2024. What are you entitled to? She's like, oh, because of the kids. So I claim the kids on my taxes because I'm like, yo, I'm providing for the kids. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Oh, I told her, I was gonna give her a portion of the tax return. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll give you the portion of the tax return. But then she told me, oh yeah, you're doing this now. I'm like, okay, now you're not getting nothing. And she's like, and you don't get to talk to the kids. And she's like, oh, if you got to if you provided for them, you'd be able to see them, this and that. So she hasn't answered any of my calls. She hasn't answered any of my texts. I'll text, how the kids, blah blah blah. She'll react to a message here and there, and then that's it. I try calling, doesn't pick up the phone, and so she goes on the court documents because I guess she went and got a PO box thinking I wasn't gonna get her address. I told her, I'm like, listen, I don't know why you're trying to keep the address from me. I already have your address. It is what it is. Can I see my kids? And no answer. And so she puts on the court documents that there's no parenting plan in place. Father does not provide for the children, nor does he care about them. Blah blah blah. And um, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going tomorrow. Hopefully, they can get everything processed and get those court documents served to her. Whatever the case may be, I need this to speed up.
Yeah, and you definitely need to be careful because, and this is just genuine advice, nothing legal, because of course we're not attorneys, so we cannot give legal advice. But given your demeanor and the way that you handled her in the past, I just think that you need to be extra careful because she's the type of person that potentially would try to silver bullet, right? You know what that is, right?
No.
So the silver bullet is when one parent makes false accusations of abuse towards
Yeah.
the other parent to get a protective order in place, which in turn stops them from getting the kids because the kids are gonna most likely be a part of the order. And we have a very dear friend who has a lifetime protective order on him. Not to say that that would be the case, but you shouldn't want any protective order on you
And
because it's only
Florida gave it to him.
Florida, definitely. And so you don't want to have complications when you're trying to just be a part of your kid's life. So with all the way that you guys handle thinking that it could be a compromise, you falling for the okie doke thinking you can work this out and talk to her, you need to stay very far away from her
Right.
because she's very dangerous. And what she told your girlfriend is what she meant. She wants to see you lonely and miserable. And it's probably going to go up a couple of notches once you get something in place to stop her from doing what she's doing. So you really need to pay attention to that. And like we always tell guests before we wrap it up, have you seen Betty Broderick? Have you seen that movie before?
No, man.
It's on YouTube. Betty Broderick. Go watch that movie. It's a part one and a part two on YouTube. And the movie, I always tell people about it because it just gives you an open mind to understand how far somebody can really go if they don't get what they want. And so you always have to consider that. And I think a lot of times people think they know somebody so well that they'll never do this or it may not go this far or I can work with them and then we can work it out. And I just want to see my kids. But actually you're causing more harm than not by not just putting something in place to protect you and those babies when it comes down to you and your kids and you guys relationship. It has nothing to do with her. Get the marriage dissolved. You got somebody else. You need to really take action and do what you need to do because this whirlwind of back and forth and all this you've done for her, it proves nothing. It means nothing still to this point. And it's like you're still, I believe you're still willing. I mean, that doesn't make you a bad guy, right? It just at some point you have to be smart. And if you really want to protect your kids, then you have to be smart. And the way you're going about it is not going to do anything but cause more
Yeah.
harm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
my apologies. I'm trying to
once
look at that movie.
yeah, because once the gloves is off, man, they off. You can't go back. You need to cut her water off. The thing
Yeah,
about
that
it
that's
is,
that's what I did, and she didn't like it, and she hasn't allowed me to see it
And
but
that's
again.
fine. I mean,
she
that's life.
she
I mean, once you get divorced, she'll be entitled to something anyway, right? That's your
yeah,
wife.
but maybe and maybe not because y'all been separated for so long and she's been bouncing around. So obviously she been able to take care of herself. It's all about how
It's funding that.
it's I know, but it's all about how your lawyer plays it. But from the outside looking in, I would give the kids to the most stable environment. They didn't move to 3 states in within the what last 2 years, 3 years.
Last year,
See what
less
I'm
than a
saying?
year.
Like that is not healthy for a kid. So you really got some homework to do, and you gotta move
And you
fast.
gotta be serious. Like I know you
Yeah,
in the process now, but that's only because she's cut you off. If she was giving you a little bit here and there, you probably wouldn't even be this far. You have to take
yeah,
this serious because they're getting older, and the more chaotic things that's happening is gonna start affecting them more than it is now. They're just young,
Yeah.
so you need to think about all of these things, but.
One of the biggest things my wife told me was that helped me out. It's that these kids is not gonna stay little forever. And all the stuff that you think that you protected right now, and you feeling guilty because you want to be around, you want to be involved.
It's not even gonna
It's
matter.
not even gonna matter.
What's gonna matter is when they get older.
But it will matter if you don't fight because you got to get your stuff set in stone, and that was one of the things that helped me dearly and helped me push through. Because I already know. I asked you the question earlier, but I didn't ask. It was a two-part question. So how do you cope with how do you deal with that at night? And how do you deal with that on a day-to-day basis, knowing that your kids are somewhere across the world and you can't be their protector?
yeah. I mean, like, there's a couple times where, like, I'm driving home from work. I had to have like, at work, I have this tough exterior. Like, I've had inmates get in my face. I think my third day at this new prison, I had a freaking body slam an inmate. Because the guy was trying to fight for 20 grams of meth. Like I had to have this like, tough exterior, and there's times where like I'm driving home and I'm trying to fight tears because I'm thinking about my kids. Even now, just talking about it, it's like kind of choking me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
definitely
get it. We
understand.
definitely get it.
But you got a great support system. I could tell that your girlfriend, she's a good woman. How she's been bagging you in this situation, but
Yep.
I don't want to see you lose out on her and your
Yeah. She
mental and
she
your kids. So that's why it's important to go at this, and you got to go at this hard. All the
yeah.
money that you been giving her,
could have
you
been going towards getting,
a
something in
resol
place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I my my baby mother, she's talking to my girlfriend. She's like, oh yeah, you're not even his type, this and that. He only likes Spanish girls, whatever. And no, because I don't know if she was trying to make my girlfriend feel like
Definitely run
nauseous.
our way.
Like she's like, oh, like he told me he would never be with a black woman because my girlfriend's black, and I'm like, no, that's not the case. I'm like, I told my girlfriend, I'm like, you got nothing to worry about. I love you. You've been my rock, and for the past however long that this stuff's been going on, and you've been holding me down. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You've been there for me, and I'm not gonna lose you over some stupidity that's happening with this woman. And she's been holding it down for me. Even now, she'll make sure like, hey, did you talk to this lawyer? Did whatever? She'll help me with the
And this is
papers.
just the beginning. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys gotta strap y'all boots up because it's a long road ahead. And your babies are small; they're young.
Yeah,
We've been doing this a long time. Even after winning custody, it's still a challenge. It's still a battle when you're dealing with somebody that just wants to ruin everything because they're never gonna be satisfied with the outcome because they want what they want, and unfortunately, they just can't have it. And so, kudos to your girl.
So I got one more question before you land your plane. So what made you come on this platform to share your story?
so I initially was, I was looking at some stories that weren't from your platform, and then I came across your platform, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm not the only one. I'm like, I'm not the only one that's going through this, and I want to, let other fathers know that you're not alone. There's a lot of us that are going through this, and it's an unfair system, and it freaking sucks. And I just want if you want to come on this platform and tell your story, I think every person should, because it sheds some light on people going through stuff like this.
Absolutely,
Absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Keep us posted. We want to know what's going on with you and your babies and how everything plays out. We're always looking for new ways to raise awareness and to give more insight. It may be a guy that's in your area, if not going through the same situation, and then just hearing your story may, help him out or trigger him to go take action. Because a lot of fathers just sit back and don't do anything, and that's what we're trying to change. Because these kids are the ones who suffer behind this, and they are the ones who are the focus. They're what's important in all of this, right?
For sure.
And so that's why we do this. And again, thank you for coming up and sharing your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys for for taking the time on your day off and allowing me, because the only 2 days off I get is Wednesday and Thursday, and then tomorrow back to work. So I
I
really
mean,
appreciate you guys letting me tell my story.
yeah. No doubt. That's what we do, man. This is uh this is our passion.
It's our purpose.
Our purpose. This is our life. So, you know, it was easy. It was an easy decision. But I'm just glad you was able to come on here and share your story and get it out there, and hopefully things turn around for you, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, I
All
appreciate it. Thank you so
right.
much.
All right. Till next
Thank
time.
you. You
Mhm.
enjoy the rest
You
of your
have a good
evening.
one. You
You
too,
too,
man.
man.
Thank you.
Thank you.